After returning from a business trip, my husband deleted all posts about me on his social media. His sister explained, I got divorced, and he deleted them to avoid upsetting you. Don't be angry, I'll have him repost them right away. My husband frowned. It's my own social media. I don't need anyone's permission to delete it. I paused for a moment before nodding in agreement. You're right. Since this is a welcome back dinner for me, is it okay if I invite a few male friends to liven things up? The private room fell into complete silence. The phone I picked up was snatched away and thrown onto the table. Zachary frowned. Everyone's in a good mood. Why ruin it with such a downer? Jessica wrapped her arm around his. Her eyes sparkled. Don't be angry, sister-in-law. Zachary and I have been close since we were kids. Someone at the table laughed along. That's true, sister-in-law. Don't be upset. If they really had something going on, Poole wouldn't be chasing you so desperately. Exactly, Poole wouldn't even look at Jessica. She seemed both embarrassed and annoyed. The tissue she had used to wipe her mouth was thrown at the person who spoke. How dare you speak like that? Everyone at the table burst into laughter. The atmosphere was cheerful. Except for me. Beside Jessica. Sweetie, with her pigtails, got off the table. She gently tugged at Zachary's sleeve. Uncle Zach, is that auntie upset? The 4 or 5-year-old Sweetie puckered her lips. Zachary immediately put down his glass, picked her up, and soothed her softly. When he looked up again, his eyes were half closed. Wanyu, don't scare the child. My gaze met Sweetie's in his arms. She smiled widely. She stuck her tongue out at me. Zachary pinched her soft cheek and whispered, Sweetie, can you take good care of your mom from now on? Sweetie shouted loudly, from now on, Uncle Zach and I will take care of Mom together. Everyone in the private room laughed along with Sweetie's childish voice. A waiter lit some fireworks, which exploded with a loud bang. They shouted, Congratulations to Jessica for being single again. In the corner, the waiter's sympathetic gaze fell on my face, and I finally understood. The welcome banquet was real. But it wasn't for me. I picked up the phone that had been passed around the table and took it back. I smiled softly. Could you please open another room for me? Make it exactly the same size as this one. Zachary rushed out, his brows furrowed tightly. Lin Wanyu, where are you going? Can't you just enjoy the meal? Why do you have to make a scene and embarrass everyone? He looked me up and down. How could you come back from a business trip and act so unreasonable? Jian, she got divorced, and she's different from you. We've been together since we were kids, so it's natural to be a little special toward her. Lin Wanyu, you should understand. I was understanding. Of course I understand. I'm about to get divorced too, and my male best friends might also be special toward me. It's just compassion, right? Zachary froze. The door to the private room was pushed open. Sweetie ran out and hugged Zachary's legs. Uncle Zach, Sweetie misses you. She looked up at me. Sweetly, she smiled, revealing 2 dimples. Mom misses you too. The corridor fell into an awkward silence. Sweetie continued to tug at Zachary's legs, acting spoiled. He just ruffled her hair. Sweetie, be a good girl and go back first. Uncle Zach needs to handle something, okay? The door to the private room opened again. Jessica peeked her head out and smiled. Sis, Zach, you two aren't done yet? That word was interesting. Fighting. She looked troubled as she came out and picked up Sweetie. If you insist on causing trouble, Zach, you should go back first. Don't get involved with us. Our relationship won't change even if we skip a meal. Sweetie, say goodbye to Uncle Zach. As she finished speaking, Sweetie began to choke up. Uncle Zach, goodbye. Zachary's expression changed almost instantly. He took the child into his arms. Lin Wanyu, if you want to leave, go ahead. I've never seen an adult get jealous over a child. He opened the private room door and went inside. Jessica crossed her arms, smiling faintly. I understand what my sister-in-law is worried about, but there's really no need. Zach and I have been close since we were kids. If we were meant to be together, we would have been together long ago. Her eyes held a challenge only women could see. She opened the private room door again, her face now adorned with a flower-like smile. It's rare for everyone to gather like this. Tonight, we won't leave until we're drunk. Inside the private room, shouts of cheers soon echoed. Among them were the unique voices of children. The stubbornness in her heart melted away instantly. Back home, the suitcase from my business trip was still by the door. On the table lay the flowers Zachary had given me when he picked me up. My wife is finally back. Let's all gather tonight to welcome her home. Upon arriving at the winery, my first thought was that it was a bit extravagant. Zachary looked away awkwardly. It's just a welcome home. We can use it a few times. But my job often requires business trips. At the time, I didn't understand the underlying meaning of his words. Looking back, I grew increasingly annoyed. The phone rang, and my friends' voices came through. Evelyn, you booked such a big table. Why didn't you come? In the background, children's cheers could be heard. Daddy and Mommy, I want ice cream. On the other end, Jessica's laughter could be heard. Zach, this finally fulfills your dream of being a dad. Zachary's voice was filled with laughter. Sweetie has already eaten so much ice cream. Can you wait until tomorrow? Uncle Zach will buy you some. My friend exclaimed over the phone, wow. Evelyn, that guy looks a bit like your husband. Winery. I still didn't choose to go back. When Zachary returned home, the clock had already struck 3 a.m. Why aren't you asleep yet? He placed the takeout box on the table. Just in time. Jianxi was worried you'd be hungry, so she asked me to bring it back for you. My gaze swept over the transparent box. Zachary opened the box and placed it in front of me. Green matcha mousse. In the center, a piece had been carefully scooped out. His expression froze. After a long pause, he tried to explain. I packed 2 when I was getting ready. Sweetie was hungry. She asked for it in the car, and I must have grabbed the wrong one when we got out. You didn't get the wrong one. I tapped the hollow spot in the middle. The green lid, plus the heart that's been changed. Isn't that exactly what Jessica meant? Zachary frowned. It's just a kid taking a bite of cake. There's no need to overanalyze it like this. I looked up. Overanalyze? What wouldn't be overanalyzing? Wait until I see you sleeping in the same bed with Jessica? A flash of panic crossed Zachary's eyes. What's sleeping together? You've been poisoned by novels. He furrowed his brows. If you're in a bad mood, calm down and talk later. Suspecting such nonsense, I think you've really gone crazy from the business trip. He quickened his pace. He shut the bedroom door. I stared at the slice of cake missing from the mousse. My heart sank. Early the next morning, my phone rang. A stranger requested to add me as a friend. After accepting, I was immediately added to a group chat. 6 Wow, sis, did it really lead to an argument between you two? I didn't respond. The other person sent another voice message. A child, still sleepy, said, Is it Dad? Sweetie woke up. Why isn't Dad sleeping with Mom? 1 minute and 59 seconds. The voice message was timed and withdrawn. Jessica's voice sounded cautious. It was Sweetie who took my phone. The child wasn't fully awake and was talking nonsense. Sister-in-law, you didn't hear it, did you? She giggled and sent a few more messages. Zach loves Sweetie. She's just a kid. It's natural for her to be close to Zach. But don't worry, sis. I know my limits. When you're around, I won't let Sweetie get too close to Zach either. In the background, Sweetie's muffled sobs could be heard faintly. The small group chat fell silent. Soon, Zachary's slightly hoarse voice came through. Jianxi, what nonsense are you talking about? Sweetie, don't cry. You'll always be Uncle Zach's most important person. The group fell silent again. But even through the screen, I could feel the subtle reactions in the group. I smiled. Sorry, I accidentally joined your parents' family group. A voice came from the second bedroom. Zachary suddenly pulled open the door and ran out, looking stunned. Zachary suddenly opened the door and ran out, looking stunned. Who added you to the group? Who else could it be? Zachary knew exactly who it was. The thought probably only circled in his mind twice. He calmed down. Jian, she didn't mean any harm. She's always been a carefree person since she was little. She probably just wanted to add you to the group so you could fit in better. My fingers. Rubbing the phone screen. The group name on the page was quite interesting. Miss Sue and her puppies. The masculine man frowned. I have to go out today. Jian, she just got divorced and came back. We haven't settled on a kindergarten yet. I'm just going to help out. So, don't say any more of that nonsense. Zachary sighed. Me and Jianxi, there's really nothing between us. I quietly observed Zachary's movements. He turned and went to the bathroom. He carefully shaved the stubble on his face. A message came in the group chat. Sweetie seemed to have woken up, giggling. Uncle Zach has to shave his beard clean, or it'll prick Sweetie. The man's movements froze. He held his phone, his eyes gentle. I didn't know who he was talking to. Soon, Jessica's loud voice rang out in the group chat. Guys, after you take care of Sweetie today, let's go out for drinks tonight. She paused. Then she added, make sure to ask your sisters-in-law for permission first. The silent group chat came alive. One after another, people I knew quickly sent a 1 in the group chat. Zachary left the house. Soon, he sent the message to my phone again. Hermes has released a new collection. Want to check it out? A subtle attempt to reconcile. But I was too lazy to respond. The familiar sales associate messaged me next. Miss Lin, the new collection you pre-ordered has arrived. In the video, she was wearing white gloves and carrying a bag. A little child was holding a backpack nearby, gesturing to the man in front of him. Uncle Zach, this is pretty. I turned off the video. I replied to her. No need to deliver it today. I'll pick it up. I couldn't describe this feeling. People like us shouldn't make a scene even when things end. But I still drove to the mall. Children's play area. Daddy, Mommy, I want to play with this. Sweetie, around 4 or 5 years old, wearing a Hermes backpack, ran around happily. Jessica held Zachary's arm and tilted her head. You should ask Daddy if he'll buy it for you. Sweetie immediately ran to Zachary. Looking up, Daddy, can I? What a warm scene. Unfortunately, there was one more person there. Our eyes met. Zachary's smile froze on his face. Jessica realized what had happened and let go of his arm. Sis, this is just a habit I picked up before we got married. It doesn't mean anything. Sweetie puckered her lips. Auntie, why do Mom and Dad always separate when they see you? I knelt down. Under Zachary's tense expression, I gently stroked Sweetie's hair. Because I'm your dad's wife. The venue fell silent for 3 seconds. 3 seconds later, Sweetie burst into sharp cries. You're lying. Mom clearly said that as long as I do what she says, Dad will be mine forever. He's only mine. He's my new dad, and the only wife he can have is my mom. You're lying, you're lying. Auntie, you're bad. Her little face was covered in tears. She still pushed me with all her might. You're bad, you're bad. I stood up. Zachary's face had turned dark. Why are you saying these things to a child? Jessica shielded the children behind her, her eyes red with urgency. Sister-in-law, even if you don't like me, there's no need to involve the child. Yes. I dragged out my words. Using a child for adult matters is truly shameless. Jessica stared at me in shock. Zachary's expression was grim. Lin Wanyu, stop causing trouble. He seemed to be holding back. Jian, she divorced and came back, a woman with a child. In Seattle, we're only a few friends. Help out a little. Is it really worth making such a scene? Sweetie covered her eyes and continued to sob. In the mall, many people stopped to watch. Jessica's eyes were red with anger. Sister-in-law, even if you want to maintain your marriage, my sweetie is only 5 years old. Is it really necessary to stalk and threaten her like this? I was impressed by her ability to dodge the issue and couldn't help but clap. The child is 5 years old. How old is the mother? So you spent the night with my husband. Were you playing at the playground? Some people in the crowd laughed out loud. Jessica trembled all over, and the child she was holding cried even louder, wailing heartbreakingly. Zachary grabbed my arm. Furious, he shouted, "This is a public place. Don't you feel ashamed?" "What's there to be ashamed of? It's not me who's having an affair." I shook off his hand. "You should be more concerned about how embarrassing it will be for the Chi family when this scandal breaks." I turned and walked away. I sent a message to the sales associate at Hermes. "The new collection for next season is out. Have it delivered directly to my home." The netizens were quick. In just an afternoon, the news of the Chi family's young master's scandal made it to the local headlines. The impact was evident. Zachary's parents called us back. Just as I was about to take a sip of jasmine tea, someone smashed the ashtray. Clang! The Persian cat under the table was startled. My father-in-law furrowed his brows. Such a commotion. "Zachary, what's going on?" My hand froze. My mother-in-law glanced at me intentionally or unintentionally. I lowered my eyes and blew gently. This year's new tea. It tasted good. The man beside me tried to explain. "Dad, you know Jian Shi too." If the situation were reversed, Jian, she wouldn't ignore me either. There was a moment of silence at the table. My father-in-law spoke up. "What's going on with that child?" Zachary's expression softened. "That's the child Jane brought back after her divorce, Dad. The child is still young. It's just a simple liking, nothing malicious." Such a small matter without anyone instigating it. How did it escalate so much? My father-in-law tapped his fingers on the table. I put down my teacup and picked up the Persian cat under the coffee table to play with it. The kitten purred softly. I smiled lightly. "Dad, Mom, let's go out for some fresh air." My father-in-law had been in the business world for years. Stirring up public opinion was something I hadn't intended to hide from him. I just didn't expect that even the elderly would lose their composure, trying to manipulate me. Just as I took a few steps, the villa door opened. A child ran in joyfully. Uncle Zach, Mom, and I came to find you." Jessica held a gift box, her gaze meeting mine, seeming a bit surprised. She smiled belatedly. "I came to visit Uncle Zach's godmother." Sister-in-law, what a coincidence. Not a coincidence. I posted a message on the family circle, visible only to her. Jessica hurried over. How could this be a coincidence? I turned around and saw Sweetie already in Zachary's arms, cuddling up to him. The smile on my mother-in-law's face froze. I stroked the soft fur of the cat in my arms. I decided to go back and sit on the sofa. "There's a guest at home, so I'll stay and keep you company for a while." Zachary looked at me, a hint of panic flashing in his eyes. "Why did you come at this time?" Jessica naturally put her things away, paused upon hearing this, and cautiously glanced at me. "I came to see Uncle Zach's godmother and sister-in-law." "It's not like you misunderstood, right?" The next moment, Tian threw herself into his arms. "Daddy, I missed you." Zachary's expression darkened. After hesitating for a moment, he still held Tian's body, afraid she would fall. "Jian Shi, you." The old lady's bracelet clattered against the marble table. How can this child call him daddy? The little cat in my arms, startled, jumped to the ground. Tian screamed, clinging to Zachary's neck. "Daddy, Mommy, the cat is scratching me." The scene descended into chaos. "Wan Yu." My father-in-law called out to me, taking a deep breath before speaking. "The Chi family is no good. They won't bring you any benefits." I bent down, picking up the Persian cat from the ground. It seems that Grandma can't keep the cat now that she has a granddaughter. Since that's the case, the daughter-in-law will take care of it. Grandma was stunned. Her face was pale, but she didn't say a word. I walked out of the old house. In my heart, I understood the answer I wanted. Perhaps Grandma was kept in the dark. But Grandpa's attitude toward Zachary didn't seem like he knew nothing. Behind me, footsteps were chasing after me. Zachary's face darkened. "Where are you going?" I didn't speak, staring at him calmly. Sweat began to trickle down Zachary's nose. "Stop overthinking things, okay? Wait for me. I'll handle this, and we'll go home together. I'll explain everything to you." Jessica's previous marriage was to someone in San Diego, right? He froze. He stammered, unable to speak. I smiled faintly. 5 years ago, in San Diego. Were you there when Jessica just gave birth? Zachary's face turned pale. I turned around. I had no interest in hearing the stories he was making up. I returned to the house where I lived with Zachary. I began organizing the important documents on my desk. The security door was quickly pulled open, and Zachary burst in, panting, late night. He grabbed my hand. I didn't do anything inappropriate with Jane. "Why are you in such a hurry?" I pushed his hand away. Zachary fell silent. After a moment, he tried to block my path. "Aren't you angry?" "Angry? Will that change the fact that you cheated?" He grew desperate. "I didn't cheat. Jane and her daughter just returned to Seattle. I couldn't just stand by and watch." He trailed off mid-sentence. "Your cold attitude toward me is because of those social media posts? We can't just stay happy while Jane suffers, can we? As friends, I wouldn't do something that hurts people." He grew more confident as he spoke. He fidgeted with his tie in frustration. "We've argued from the mall to my house. Isn't that enough? As a couple, we rise and fall together. I don't believe you don't know that." I looked at the forensic report that had just been sent to my phone. My expression grew increasingly calm. "Not necessarily." Zachary froze. One corner of his eyebrow raised. "What did you say?" Before he could finish, his phone rang. Jessica's panicked voice came through. "Zach, Sweetie was scared by the cat and has a fever. What should I do?" He stood up immediately. "Don't panic, I'll be right there." He turned and hurried out. Before leaving, he hesitated for a moment and looked at me. "Sweetie is sick. I'm just going to." "I know," I interrupted him. "You and Jessica have a simple relationship. You're just helping a friend." Zachary froze. "When I come back, I'll take care of everything for them. I'll be here for you." The room was left empty, just me. I suddenly recalled my first meeting with Zachary 5 years ago. In San Diego. He smelled of disinfectant. When he saw me, his eyes lit up. "Miss Lin, would you honor me with a dance?" At the party, he emphasized, "I'm currently single and have no scandals." I packed up the documents in the room. I turned and left. The marital assets weren't insignificant. The rest would have to be handed over to the lawyer for a swift property division. The negative online rumors had been suppressed by my father-in-law. An entire week passed. Zachary vanished completely. Not even my phone rang once. I wondered if he was too engrossed with Jessica to care, or if he had simply forgotten there was a wife at home. Fortunately, a week was enough time for the lawyer to finalize the property division. I drafted the lawsuit and filed it in court. This time, my phone finally rang. Zachary's voice was urgent. "Lin Wanyu, are you crazy for suing me?" My fingers traced Zachary's latest WeChat post. At the kindergarten, the parent-child activity was in full swing. Zachary was helping Sweetie build a tower with blocks. The tower was very tall, the tallest in the entire room. The family of 3 was smiling sweetly in the video. I casually gave it a like. The phone emitted a buzzing sound, and the joyful laughter on the other end was cut off abruptly. "Calm down, okay? I'm coming home. Let's talk." The call was disconnected. The sea breeze blew around me. A man turned to me. "Mr. Lin, Are you here by the sea for a vacation or to avoid something? I smiled and picked up the orange juice. Neither. If you give me the project, I can go back and handle my family matters without any worries. The man laughed beside me. The assistant handed over the agreement, and the other party signed it without hesitation. Mr. Lin, you're so young and full of potential. The orange juice and red wine clinked together. My phone rang. Zachary's voice sounded panicked. You're not home. Auntie said you left early and haven't come back yet. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. We need to talk. The sea breeze was a bit harsh. I raised my hand to block it. Talk about what? Mock trial? Or pre-trial coaching for you? Zachary took a deep breath. You, whether you believe me or not, before she divorced, I hadn't been in contact with her at all. Including in San Diego. He paused. That time, she's ex-husband couldn't be there for her childbirth, so I went. I hung up the phone decisively. I've heard enough lies. Enough. The timing was perfect. The project was secured before the trial. As soon as I stepped off the plane, I saw Zachary's face. It wasn't surprising that he could track me down. Late night. He hurried after me, his face covered in stubble, looking exhausted. Why didn't you tell me you were going out of town? I looked for you all day. He took my luggage, my dad already told me. It was my fault for not thinking things through and not setting boundaries. But I just felt sorry for them, the mother and daughter. I stopped in my tracks. I scanned his entire body from head to toe. Without the romantic filter, I realized for the first time what Zachary was really like. Didn't you see the evidence the court sent you? Zachary froze. I walked forward, and he hurried after me. Let bygones be bygones. Compared to you, they're already suffering enough. I'm just helping them out. Yu, don't make this worse. If you don't drop the charges, what will happen if the trial goes ahead? I laughed out loud. I took the luggage from his hands and dragged it myself. Instead of trying to reconcile, why don't you go check the documents for the defendant, Mr. Chi? In today's society, private investigators aren't hard to find. This week, Zachary had indeed rented 2 rooms outside. One was for himself. The other was for the 2 of them. It was disgusting. There were only 2 days left before the trial. Zachary kept trying to contact me. Fed up, I blocked him. Besides the property we needed to fight for in court, I didn't think there was anything else worth discussing with him. Back to the project. Waiting downstairs for a familiar figure. Zachary approached, his Adam's apple bobbed, but he couldn't speak for a moment. I tried to walk around him, but he blocked me with his arm. You. His face was bitter. Those days, I was drunk when it happened. What kind of alcohol? Drunk for 7 days? Zachary froze. After a long silence, he finally handed over his phone in a panic. I've left that group and deleted all of she's contact information. You can check. I didn't reach out. After a long standoff, Zachary broke down. You weren't the only man in my life before we got married. What's so important about getting drunk? Don't be so dramatic, okay? I stepped closer to him. This past week, I've been with other men. Zachary froze. The next moment, his eyes turned red. What did you say? Mr. Chi, can you accept this? He blurted out instinctively, how can you and I be the same? I'm a man, I'm not at a disadvantage. I laughed coldly. Suddenly, I felt how unnecessary it was to be standing there. Let's end this, Zachary. This entanglement makes me feel sick. The man standing there turned slightly pale. I walked past him. Suddenly, I remembered a phrase I had seen somewhere. Having a former lover who was as despicable as trash is no different from having a criminal record. It was something that would be remembered for a lifetime. Mr. Chi was a man who valued his reputation. With his influence, Zachary was unlikely to cause any trouble before the trial. But Jessica was not under his influence. She was sitting across from me. Her attire was completely different from that of the woman he had been with earlier. She had dressed up, looking elegant and noble. I glanced at the time. "Miss Sue, you only have 3 minutes." Jessica's smile froze, and she kept stirring her coffee with a spoon. "Sweetie is Zachary's child." I looked at her. "So what?" Jessica sneered. "Zach said you have no plans to have children." "Zach is an only child. You can't cut off the Poole family's lineage." Jessica tilted her chin slightly. "So, Zach won't disown Sweetie." "Oh!" I nodded. 3 minutes are up. "Miss Sue, goodbye." I stood up. Jessica stood up angrily. "Lin Wanyu, can't you understand? Whatever you do is pointless." I stood my ground. "Are you showing off your reproductive capabilities, Miss Sue? Having a child for a man, what kind of achievement is that to boast about? Besides," I dragged out my words, "are you sure Sweetie is Zachary's?" Her voice trailed off. She stammered, staring at me. What are you talking about?" I smiled. "Nothing. It was nice meeting you today, Miss Sue." I pushed open the glass door of the coffee shop. A woman's voice echoed behind me. "Even if you use divorce to make Zach regret it, it won't work, Lin Wanyu." I walked toward the company. Suddenly, I admired Jessica's way of thinking. For me, love and marriage can both be stepping stones to money. But children cannot. Having a child requires a stable family relationship and adequate material conditions. Both are indispensable. I once told Zachary, "Marriage is fine, but I don't want children yet, because I feel you're not ready to be a father." Zachary stuffed the roses into my arms. "All right, I'll listen to my wife." On the day of the court hearing, it rained heavily in Seattle. The legal team secured the maximum property division benefits for me. Divorce cases involving business people are tough to handle. Both sides were fiercely arguing over the division of assets. Suddenly, a young girl's crisp voice rang out from the audience. "Daddy, win quickly. Take me and Mom back to Grandma's house." The courtroom fell silent. Sweetie's mouth was covered. My legal team played a recording. "Sweetie is Zachary's child. Zach said you never planned to have children. Zach is an only child. You can't cut off the Chi family line. So Zach won't disown Sweetie. Sweetie is Zachary's child. Zach said you never planned to have children. Zach is an only child. You can't cut off the Chi family line. So Zach won't disown Sweetie." Over and over again. On repeat. Zachary's expression changed at the table. Jessica hurriedly waved her hands. "No, that's not." The opposing lawyer pointed out the illegal recording. My legal team put away the recording device. This recording was not submitted as part of the evidence chain. The irrefutable evidence was presented. Added to that was Jessica's clever but reckless remarks. The fact that Zachary was at fault was nailed down. After a lengthy debate over property division, the final decision was made. As the party at fault, Zachary had to compensate me, and I received 70% of the marital property. As we walked out of the courtroom, the sky cleared up. Zachary followed me, his expression unusually confused. "Late you, how did we end up like this?" "Jen, she divorced me. I really just wanted to help." I didn't mean to." A crowd of journalists swarmed around. Microphones were shoved into Zachary's face. "Mr. Chi, is the girl in the mall really your illegitimate daughter? Are you two here today to file for divorce? Will this situation affect the business of the Chi family?" Sweetie burst into tears. She was quickly picked up by Jessica. The spotlights turned toward the mother and daughter. Jessica was furious. "Who let you interview them? Get out of here, get out." I walked down the stairs from the other side. "Everyone, thank you for your hard work. We've arranged some entertainment for you all to relax." This time, the media exposure once again put the Chi family in the spotlight. As a result, the incident from last time that had been suppressed by the elderly Mr. Chi was also dug up. The internet has a memory. The general public might not care about which wealthy individual has a few more illegitimate daughters. But when it comes to marriage and third parties, it becomes a topic everyone wants to gossip about. For a time, the Chief family found themselves at the center of a storm. At the club, people had already gathered there early. A man stood up and gave me a disdainful look. "You're something else, Lin Wanyu. You got married and immediately cut off all contact with me. You only remember me when you need me to work, right? You even made me pick out the restaurant for you." The legal team took their seats. I just laughed. Male best friends, right? After marriage, there should be some boundaries. My best friend rolled her eyes so hard they almost popped out, then moved even further away from me. As night fell, the lawyers dispersed in small groups. The male best friend finally approached me. "The Chief family's stock plummeted today. There were plenty of bargain shares to pick up. How much did you get?" No one could have imagined. A small rumor surfaced again. Someone had hired a large number of online trolls to dig up every detail about the Chi family. They even dug up an old video of the elderly Mr. Chi spitting on the ground and used it to attack him. The Chi family's stock continued to plummet. My female friend complained, "The property you got from your husband's affair isn't enough to handle this scandal." Early Monday morning. The latest financial news from Seattle. The young master of the Chi family had been removed from the company's core team. In other words, barring any surprises, he had no chance of taking over the company. The second Monday. Shareholders meeting. The lawyer placed the documents on the table. "Miss Lin, you hold 51% of the shares." Old Mr. Chi suddenly stood up. "Lin Wanyu." I took off my sunglasses. "What's wrong, Dad?" He clutched his chest, collapsed back into his chair, and gasped for breath. My best friend looked up, and the assistant immediately let a doctor in. After checking him, they shoved 10 pills into the old man's mouth. I furrowed my brows, trying to mimic his previous expression. "Dad, it's just the times changing. Why make such a big deal out of it?" "Lin Wanyu," someone shouted over the video call. My male best friend covered his ears. "I'm just trying to help you live stream. If you don't want to watch, just turn it off." His fingers were about to touch the screen. Suddenly, he remembered something. "Oh right, there's something I forgot to ask." My best friend smiled sweetly. "Do you know who Miss Sue's daughter really belongs to?" On the screen, Zachary remained silent in anger. The friend hung up the call decisively. An hour later, an enthusiastic netizen dug up the love history of the third sister of the former boss of the Chi family. Among the sensational details, half of the entrepreneurs in San Diego were implicated. The reason for the divorce was also revealed by the former husband's close friend. Miss Sue was caught in bed with her ex-husband, and further investigation revealed that her daughter was not biologically hers. But the identity of the biological mother remains unclear. It's hard to say. The family shouldn't be dragged into this. Some people discussed it privately, but no one used it as a means of attack. At my best friend's suggestion, I contacted a lawyer to file a lawsuit for marital fraud. To be honest, in this situation, the chances of winning are slim. Even if the marriage is annulled, it would merely mean being single versus divorced. For me, it wouldn't make much difference. But I'm a person with low moral standards. I just enjoy seeing people I dislike entangled in legal battles. I was on a business trip by the sea. My male best friend was holding a Persian cat, petting it occasionally. See who your real best friend is now? You'll see if you still want to work out with me in the future. I paused. I still told him if we get married, we might end up losing contact. My best friend froze. She was so angry her eyebrows were flying everywhere. I quickly grabbed her and begged for mercy, but successful women don't consider marriage, right? I have a house, a car, money, and a cat. What kind of person would choose marriage with such a life? My best friend gave me a disapproving look. That's more like it. No more troubles from the Chi family. Time flew by. But soon, my Weibo exploded. Countless people tagged me in the posts. Jessica posted them. She even posted photos of herself and Zachary when they were kids. She made it clear to everyone. She was the one who met Zachary first. The post didn't say it outright, but it implied that I was the third party who ruined their relationship. At the end of the post, she pleaded tearfully. "This is an adult matter. It has nothing to do with the children. Please spare the children. Don't let such young children suffer online bullying." In fact, on the day of the court hearing, I never included the children in my thoughts. Who could have imagined that Jessica would bring the child to watch the businessman's divorce proceedings? However, this time, no one on my side had to act. Online vigilantes formed groups to respond on their own. Except for me. Extramarital affairs are terrifying, but having a child with another man while married is even more terrifying. Contemporary netizens have brains. Please stop exploiting the child, thank you. Soon. Jessica deleted the post. My best friend slapped my thigh from behind. This woman must be doing this because Zachary refused to take her back, right? A white cat jumped down from his legs. It rubbed against my calf affectionately. I picked up the cat and scratched its nose. Being this woman's child must be so tragic. A warm sea breeze blew by. White cat fur was swept into waves. The little creature closed its eyes comfortably. Late Mulberry, does it have a name? Probably not. Then let's call it Unce, for unceasing effort. Come on, little Unce. Uncle Zach is taking you to the beach. End.